was talking to at darts. She plays darts. She's usually pretty good, but she was having an off night. And she's like, I just don't know what my problem is. And I've had 2 beers and I just don't feel anything. She's like, you ever get like this? I go like, yeah. And then I take something harder.
And then I feel all sorts of things. Don't know what it's going to be.
Don't always remember.
Okay.
So then she was putting shots of pickled vodka on top of her Busch Light. And I was like, new level unlocked.
That sounds awesome.
I know.
Hi, friend.
Hello.
How are you today?
I'm pretty good.
Did you know that we're starting this week's episode of Body by Beer podcast?
I do now. I thought there was going to be something at the end of that.
No, I was just thinking if you knew. Anyways, we're here this week, episode 5, season 4, and we're really
Season 3.
What did I say?
4.
Oh, well, shit, Rick. We're really gonna kind of tap into the beer geeks and the holiday freaks.
Oh.
To
what kind of show is this?
I don't know. It's a unique one. This is a unique episode today. And kind of taking your self-care and your beer care to whole new levels. And we're pretty excited about that, making this world come together. My name is Chelsea, and this is my best friend, Elizabeth, and she sounds like an elf.
You can call me Liz. Hey, everybody, I'm Liz. Welcome to this week's episode. I sound more raspy than I sounded, really high-pitched this morning.
You were pretty squeaky this morning.
I was called an elf.
Yeah. Sounded like a little elf.
Tis the season. There's flu, fireworks, and stouts. And if you drink enough whiskey, oftentimes the colds stay away. So apparently I just need to drink more whiskey.
Liz just wasn't drinking enough. Shame on her.
Yeah, that's right. Anyway, we are here, as we are every other week, as hopefully your guides to the good life, one beer at a time. As Chelsea said, the holidays are here, and that means time for family, time for food, and let's be real, a little bit of stress.
A little bit of stress.
A little bit of stress comes with the holiday season.
Truly.
And I really don't understand why, because everybody pretty much takes Thanksgiving week off till the second week of January, unless you're in the hospitality industry, which we have in all of our lives, which a lot of you are as well. Yeah. So, but corporate America, they get like 2 months off. So I don't know why they're so stressed.
But that's why there's so much going on. You like need that time off because there's not enough time in the day for it.
So, no, please go ahead.
You were coughing, so I was jumping in for you.
Please do. Chelsea's going to take the reins.
You're going to hear a lot of my voice. I'm sorry about your luck. So if you are stressing, we found and discovered a beautiful, beautiful place here in Denver, Colorado, that they mash up hops, malts, barleys, zero gravity chairs into a absolutely fantastic, wonderful spa experience. Yeah. That is relaxing, refreshing, and full of, for being honest, joy. It is absolutely great.
What's their name?
We're going to be chatting with Damien. Jessica, unfortunately, was not able to make it, but we get Damien, and he is a riot of a time. He's got great stories, even stories from like when they opened their doors. And it's just a great, fun interview and hearing their passion of how they got Oakwell Beer Spa started.
That's right. Super cute guy. Really funny, really smart. And there's always more, right, to the show. We're here for the main interviews. You're here for the banter, of course. We're hilarious. We know you come for that. But there's also brew news. Stick around with that. We like to keep you up to date on any trending and industry specific. We got Sips of Wisdom with Miss Chelsea Rhodes over here. Oh, it's a long one. I'm excited. There's a lot of wisdom packed into those sips. Oh, I'm excited for that. Still looking for my beer trivia championship hat. Okay. And then, of course, we'll have Brews and Bites. We're going to be doing chocolate chip cookies and IPAs.
It's the season.
That's right. And then a top 10 list of holiday beers to warm our hearts.
Yes, the ones you should be drinking this season.
That's right.
So with that, let's, what are you drinking?
Okay, so this is one of Voodoo Ranger's new beers that you can go and vote on. It's the Electric Thunderclap IPA. It looks like Biker Gym, made in America. It's really good branding. And then they pitted it against a hazy IPA. It looks more like Macho Man Randy Savage, but I personally prefer this one. It's West Coast. It's piney, a little danky. You thought it was a little too gummy bear.
I saw the gummy bear going on. But you like gummy
refreshing.
bear.
I do. Yeah. And all of the other things above. And it feels really nice on my throat. But be careful. It's a solid 7.5%. So
Sneaky.
The warming comes right up on you.
Sneaky voodoo.
But also great for holiday stress because you have one or two of those and you can get through any holiday conversation that
You're
comes
not
your
stressed anymore.
way. No. You'll be stressed tomorrow going, what did I
You'll
say?
say the next day maybe. And because we did our brews and bites and I drank the NA beers, my belly was bloated. And I'm drinking this lovely crafted from the refrigerator spigot. I think we have a filter. Water.
Water? Oh, never touch the stuff. Fish in it.
You should stay hydrated. It's important to drink responsibly and stay hydrated, especially here in the great state of Colorado.
Really?
Dry. You dry out real quick.
Real dry.
Quicker than a fish out of water.
Need a pickle top.
Wait, think about that pickle top.
For a while now, I will be. That's for sure. And with now that you know that we're what we're drinking, let's get into brew news.
Let's do it. Today's brews news is going to be packed with stories that are meant to change the way you think about beer. Not that we're not talking about that every other week, but what happens when a legendary rock band brews a non-alcoholic beer, or when Costco teams up with one of the best craft breweries to create a barrel-aged stout.
Yeah,
that is apparently pretty good. So I got to find that one.
Gotta get a Costco membership for that one. Some friends.
I thought you did have one.
I don't know. We keep getting charged, but they keep charging a card that expired like a year ago. We don't even know how they're doing it. It's very perplexing. It's got to be the same card. We haven't updated it, but yet we keep getting a charge, and we're like, we don't know how.
Interesting.
Yeah. Sorcery.
Yeah, that's all right. Last but not least, Sam Adams often pops up into the brewery news. Well, they're back into it, and we're talking about their infamous utopias, and they're banned in 15 states. But why?
But why?
But why? We don't have time for questions.
We're also diving into a fascinating study about why some of us are born to crave a beer. It's not my fault. I was born this way. And of course, we'll shine light on the beers making this holiday season unforgettable. This is the kind of news you don't want to miss because it's about beer. And that's nice.
And that's what we're here for.
That's what we're here for. So let's do it. Let's go.
Let's do it.
Let's fucking go.
Okay, so first up in the brew news, we mentioned rock bands and non-alcoholic beers. And Costco is also debuting a special barrel-aged stout.
That is alcoholic.
That one is alcoholic for sure.
Just to not be confusing.
But if any of you are close-ish to our age, then you're definitely familiar to Deftones.
The Deftones.
They were definitely pretty popular in high school for me and beyond. But they're collaborating on an NA beer release. Apparently, this isn't the first time they do it, but it's called Tone Zero, and it's a Japanese-style rice lager.
Cool.
Apparently, they got the memo about the year of the lager as well. And who doesn't love a Japanese-style rice lager? We'll hear later that Damien does.
Yeah.
He was all about the light, crispy Asian lagers.
They're delicious.
Let's see. So they partnered with Drink Sip, which is marking a significant departure from their previous alcoholic offerings. Not totally sure what that is, but the band is aiming to provide a flavorful beer experience in this Japanese rice lager that is an NA. And they're all about that NA movement as well. I know a lot of them have gone through their trials and tribulations, as a lot of artists do, especially in the music world. So good for them, taking the bull by the horns and persevering with an NA movement.
I wonder if it's easier or harder to make a good tasting lager NA versus like a stout or an IPA. Wonder which one's harder. I would almost think a lager. But there's also less alcohol to have to remove. But like I would kind of think a lager.
Yeah. And as we know, like if you mess up a lager, like it's pretty obvious that you aren't doing other things
why
well.
Maybe it's harder.
Yeah, I think I would agree with you on that as
Yeah.
well. I mean, if you can do that right, you can pretty much do any part of brewing right
Yeah.
if you're doing the lagers. So
That's why.
I like it.
I don't know.
Okay, so as I also said, Costco is releasing a limited barrel aged stout.
Mm-hmm.
So they're getting into the craft beer scene. Good for them. I'm actually surprised it took them this long, but it's a Kirkland Signature Vintage Ale. Everybody knows that logo. You can spot it from.
And it's not that nice of a logo.
It really isn't,
but it works.
It's strikingly good. It's a big 12% ABV bourbon barrel aged imperial stout brewed by no other than Deschutes Brewing.
Deschutes.
What a great partner to have. So it's
especially for a stout.
Exactly. Boasting dark chocolate malt, milled oats, Dutch cocoa, and then it's aged for 9 months in Kentucky bourbon barrels.
I've heard it's really good. I've heard good things about it.
And it looks like it's decently priced. $9.99 for 22-ounce bottle.
Well, there's this.
That's a good drunk for $10.
I didn't know this, but Costco, like their model is, I don't think they can mark anything up by more than 15%.
Welcome to Costco. I love you.
So on to our Sam Adams Utopias beer that are not legal everywhere. And the reason they are not legal everywhere is because some states suck. No, I'm just kidding. They have rules against being considered beer and being of a certain percentage of alcohol. And apparently 28% is too high, which is not surprising because that's a bonkersly high alcohol beer. But it sounds great. Yeah. So would you say 15 states it's above their beer regulation, so they're not allowed to have it. It comes in at a whopping price point. It is not cheap. It's gonna be $240, a little bit more than Costco, for a 24.5 ounce bottle.
For only 2 more ounces, 2.5.
Sounds interesting. I would struggle coughing up that amount of money. I know with like Upslope, I think those were like 50, and that was tough. But it was Upslope, and like we adore them and love them. So that's $240 is a lot. I can get a bomb ass bottle of tequila for that price. You know what I mean?
I'd probably go in on it with some friends or something.
I mean, how many people are you gonna get out of a 24 ounce bottle?
2.
So one friend, you get into it with one friend.
Sam, let's buy a bottle. Sam would do it.
So I mean, it would be interesting. Would be willing to try it. I don't know if I'd cough up $240 for it. I mean, maybe.
Yeah,
I'm
somebody
sure
else buy it.
Right time and place. I'm sure I would. But currently, that just seems crazy. It's gonna be really good. And a lot of times, like those really boozy beers just get too syrupy for me, so they're not really my jam, anyways. But
also, I mean, living in the land of beer as we do, and when you've got Burns Ale and River North just down the road that are making big bomb beers like that.
18%'s fine for me, guys. I don't
They
need
can get
20.
up into the 20s.
I don't need 28, like 18. I can survive on that. That's okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
So there you go.
And then
we
get to continue our brew news with our final story. Did you know that some people are born to love and crave beer? Maybe not love, but they crave beer. And here is why.
Their mama liked to drink beer?
What are you talking about, Mom?
I don't know. I'm drunk.
So what this study discovered is when or before born, if you were exposed to testosterone, that it increases your likelihood to crave alcohol. And then in addition, apparently being exposed to additional testosterone has a different measurement on your pointer and your ring finger, and based on those measurements determines your predisposition for the booze love. It's interesting. And there's like 258 people, so there's not like a ton, but it's an interesting correlation.
That's pretty small. What is prenatal exposure to testosterone outside of the sperm infiltrating the egg?
Like,
In a good way.
like if you like took like a testosterone pill while pregnant.
Why would you do that?
I don't know. I don't really know how else you get testosterone other than from like a pill or your hormones. Maybe your hormones are maybe your hormones are like wacky, so there's extra testosterone in your hormones.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I want to do this digit tester.
See how long they are. Yeah, what I'm not like totally saying is like if it's like a link between the two, like I feel like as a kid, you know, you did that and you'd be like, if your fingers are lined up like you love Charlie or whatever.
A lower 2-digit, 4-digit ratio where the ring finger is longer than the index finger is indicative of higher exposure to testosterone in the womb. Participants with this trait reported higher levels of alcohol consumption.
You have it on one hand.
No, on both.
Does that mean you drink with your left hand more often?
I had more but if I flip it this way, my pointer finger is taller than my ring finger.
Your bones and your arms.
Well, so which way is my hand supposed to face?
Probably this way. No, actually, it's probably this way. This is like the anatomically correct.
Oh, yeah, that's how the man is.
Oh, yeah, the man is. The naked man with the lines around him.
The mine are about even.
The Da Vinci man?
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
Mine are about even.
Mine are about even.
I had equal parts testosterone and estrogen.
Look at you. Good job, Joni. She did great.
Joni and Jim, they did it right.
Right. If you want to send us pictures of your index and
your
ring
hands.
finger, feel free.
None of this.
Would be a really funny comment section of just like people sending pictures of their hands, and if someone hasn't watched it, they're like, "What the hell is going on in this comment section?" Anyways, that's it. That's all I got. That's your brew news. Now you know more about beer than you did before. Congratulations.
We hope you feel smarter than you did.
Glad that
earlier.
we can teach you things.
That was fun, right? I always appreciate going through, I don't know, different levels of updates and quirky little studies. Like, keep it up, people. Keep finding more shit to talk about. That's why we're here.
Yeah.
That's how we made it.
Yeah. Making shit up and talking.
Mostly.
Yeah.
What do you do for a living? Nothing.
We sell Body by Beer podcast merch, which is available on our website. So if you would like to get your own Body by Beer podcast merch that says something like Care Beers and it's adorable, then head on over to our website and order one right up.
That was so well done.
Thank you.
Look, you can't just start a slow clap at any old time.
Elizabeth, can you imagine a place where the hops flow freely and the malts soak in giant warm tubs and the air smells of candles made from beer and you just get to relax and be soothed by all of your senses just overstimulated with beautiful, beautiful beer ingredients?
It sounds wonderful.
Can you imagine?
Can you imagine that?
The Willy Wonka song. Well, guess what? It's not too good to be true because you can have it at Oakwell Beer Spa, and we did it.
We did. They were so lovely.
Oh my God, they're fantastic.
Damon and Jessica, they invited us in to come enjoy the full experience. I'm talking VIP to the Ritz-Carlton down the road, basically. I mean, it was lovely.
Yeah.
You walk in and they take you through the ropes. This is how you get your beer. Here's your room. Here's how to run everything. There's little charcuterie boards that you can get in on. There's a sauna. There's zero gravity chairs.
Truly, absolutely wonderful.
It's really wonderful. You're going to love their story. They went from corporate jobs, quitting those jobs, traveling the world. I think they went to like 25 different countries in 14 months. And they were like, let's bring beer spas and talk about wellness. And let's bring it to the great state of Denver. Why? Because it has, the great state of Denver. Is that what I said? The state of affairs of Denver, of course. Colorado. But Colorado has the lowest obesity rate, I think is what he gets into.
The healthiest state.
It's the healthiest state. We have a hard time as Denverites sitting on our butts. We got to keep moving. We got to keep going.
Unless it's in a spa, then I can.
Oh yeah, yeah, and if you're gonna do it, which you should, and it's a great time to pass these out as gifts. Get gift cards. They book up quickly, so make sure to get them on the calendar.
Yeah, I mean, you get to learn what a beer spa is. We're going to bust some myths for you of what you think a beer spa might be. And if you are a health nut, this is actually the place you should be. This is not like, oh, this is beer, I shouldn't be here. Like, this is an absolute incredible wellness focused center. And he tells a really beautiful story of how they were able to, bring some new life into not only relationships, but, to a lady that was in an accident, and the ability she was able to relax was life-changing for her and her partner. Yeah. So it is truly about wellness, and it is such a fun experience. And if you've never done one, you should. And if you're in Colorado, here in Denver, you definitely should.
Absolutely.
And if that doesn't convince you, then screw you. Listen to this awesome story, and I bet this will. Take that. How long have you been in Denver?
We came in January 2019.
Okay.
So a good decent time now. I must say, I'm originally from France. Moved in the US 2013, so that's 11 years ago. We used to live in New York City. We've always been very entrepreneur at heart, very driven by creating something in hospitality and wellness. And me coming from France, having a different vision of wellness, just being from the US, it was a great combo for both of us to understand, well, what can we do in terms of new concept? We don't want to reinvent the wheel, because reinventing the wheel is it's not easy and very expensive, and takes a lot of capital. So how can we find a way to make an impact in the hospitality and wellness industry while having fun doing it? And we fell in love back in fell in love in the city. We had dream jobs, great salaries. We were living the dream in New York City, but we were not necessarily very fulfilled by what we were doing. So we decided to quit everything and travel the world for 14 months in 25 countries to find ideas and inspirations. Came back extremely inspired and tried to identify key markets that really would make sense to create a concept such as Oakwell. We realized, wait a minute, we soaked into a beer bath in Poland. We soaked into a wine bath in south of France and Spain. We soaked into those incredible Asian herbal bath in South Korea and Japan. In the meantime, you've got those people drinking beer or slurping a bowl of noodle with their 4-year-old next to them. Why is the wellness industry in the US is very different? First of all, the wellness industry is always focused on mainly, gym membership and lifting 50 pounds and you're gonna kill everyone this morning and you're gonna kill everyone tonight as well. Let's go, let's do that. And on the spa side, the spa has always been focused on women, first of all. A very, very, it's a feminine space. And on the other side, very transactional. So you go and have a massage. They give you the most amazing deal, right? $99. And then they run after you for a membership. Yeah. Well, that's not very relaxing.
Yeah.
So you add a bit of beer into it. You create a really inviting environment. You leverage technology for massages. You create a private spa suites, private environment, because we know that in the US especially, people need their service, but they need as well their privacy more than anywhere else.
Is it less private? Are those more like communal rooms in other countries?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, in Germany, or even in a few spas in Europe, you shouldn't bring your bathing suit. It's not clean.
Sure.
You
Yeah.
know, you should be a natural.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't see yet the society here drinking a beer natural. No, maybe, but that's at 3 a.m. and they might not remember that. We were looking at Denver, Portland, San Diego, Chicago. New York was out of reach just because it is extremely competitive. It is often you need a lot of capital.
Yeah.
So how we choose Denver for three main reasons. First of all, the open mindedness of accepting new
Absolutely.
concepts.
Yeah. Especially in
Nothing.
wellness.
Yes, nothing related to us, but Crocs. Crocs, the shoes were born in Boulder, right? Chipotle was born in here. Quiznos, Smash Burger. I mean, you can go on and so many disruptive concept that at the time was very innovative and that became mainstream. Colorado is the healthiest state in the U.S. There is we measure the healthiest. The measurement of being healthy is the obesity rate. This is the lowest obesity rate of the U.S. The support for small business more than anything. Of course, if you go to the suburbs, you can see a bit of change, but people in Colorado prefer to buy at a farmer's market, buy at small business, supporting small business. And I think COVID has shown how supportive the community can be when times are tough. The beer, of course, very important, the beer.
I was going to say, I was like, it's impressive that we have such a low obesity rate while we drink so much beer.
So much better.
Yes, the maker of the beer. I think it's over 400 a micro to medium to big size craft breweries. So the beer is extremely important for the culture here. I think it's anchored into the culture. And so how we were able to make beer sexy thanks to all of that, because it's a day spa. People often joke that they come and, does it smell beer? Well, I bathing beer? Not necessarily. And as well, the culture, going back the culture of soaking, the hot springs, the sauna. It's not as strong as Minnesota and, Minneapolis, where, the people, their generations are from usually Sweden and Denmark. Colorado is slightly different on that, but still, it's very helpful. The way we got here, especially just to create this concept and feeling the love and the warm welcome and the open-minded of people just accepting us was incredible. So Denver is definitely home for us as well.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, there's kind of a nuance. So I did holistic therapies in school, and a lot of those type of businesses pop up in Denver because there isn't all the regulations around it. So pros and cons of that, right? Like you get a lot more innovation and opportunities arriving in the area, and because of those opportunities, it tends to be a very supportive community. The flip, you can get some really crummy ones because it's not regulated. But it's an interesting balance, I think, and I always thought that was a really unique concept for Denver to embrace. And I think you are a perfect example of why that's such a good embracing and what that's allowed for the community to show you some love back. So.
Yes. Yeah. And, one thing that we should note on that is that from the get-go, we have opened the spa, the first location. People were, I think it was after COVID as well, that after COVID effect was like, let me get out. I want to get out and try new things and get out with my wife, with my best friend, and I want to spend some quality time. The fact that there were no rules around it, like all of the expectations, no one had expectations of what we were doing, how we were doing. It was such a brand new concept that people were so open-minded to try it. Then you like it or not, that's a very different story. But it was very overwhelming for us to feel how much support we got on that, because we had everything to prove. And for us, we have hospitality in our hearts. And we believe that a day spa should deliver happiness and relaxation. And we've took this is our mission. I mean, this is in our blood. Every time you come, you must leave happy, with a smile, and relaxed. And we want to make sure that this is done with the best service ever. And this has been done since day one. And this has helped us to capitalize on keeping recurring guests coming, loving us. And now we cannot keep up with that. So we're opening a new location.
Yes, love that. Congratulations. I know that when we went, we definitely felt the love, and we both immediately talked about how incredible your staff was and how on the same page everybody was, and just supportive. And it felt I feel like sometimes I feel like very awkward in a spa. If you had somebody that is big into wellness in the area, but they haven't checked out your spa yet, what would you tell them? This is why you should come.
The first reason why you should come is to create for the bond with your significant other or your friend. So you're in that private spa suite. No one is interrupting you. It's about you and your significant other, or someone that you really cherish and carry in your heart. And this time is uninterrupted for 90 minutes. There is no one unless you call for room service. So I think stimulating, elevating that bond, that connection with your significant other is, I think, one of the most important things. And I think it's for me the true definition of well-being. Well-being is about as well feeling that connection with your significant other or someone, a good friend. I think the second is the beer is cold and fresh and always good. You can come and have a good beer. Or if you do not like beer, I understand we have wine, kombucha, cider. We take a lot of pride of being beer snob. We clean our lines, I think too much, according to the experts in the industry. We really always educate your staff on the beers. What's the difference between this beer and the other beer? It's always an evolving industry, so we want to make sure that the knowledge is here. So the beer, come for the beer, and I think the third part is. Just, try new things. We're still unique things to do. Beer spas are not all around each corners. So I think, disrupt your routine and try to be a bit adventurous by coming and trying new things.
I like that a lot. How do you guys, speaking of all the beer, how do you guys choose what breweries you put on? When we were there, it was Oktoberfest season, so Prost was on, right? Which makes sense, right? But outside of something so clearly obvious.
First, we were looking at closed breweries just to make our life easier when we launch the spa. Now we have someone is in charge of our brewery's relations. His name is Matt. He's a must loyal employee. He has been with us for as much as we were open, over 3 years now. And he's the one in charge of networking with the breweries, tasting beers, meeting breweries, and lining up each breweries every month. The way we do it is we try to always have that fine line between not too commercial, but not as well too niche, because we really want to gather to different palates. A cool thing that we came up with, that Jess came up with, is to create a house beer that we wanted to create something related to a day spa. So, when you go to a day spa, generally you have a cucumber or lemon water. Well, we came up with a cucumber, lime sour with spice trades, where it's a sour
but it's almost like a kombucha. It's so refreshing.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It's almost like not a beer, but
Yeah.
we're breaking that stereotypes that sour too tart, and we end up having guys or even ladies drinking now sour, thinking that they've always thought that a sour should always be tart.
Yeah.
And
It
so,
is. It was definitely refreshing. That's what Liz was drinking.
I had my fair share.
I was still in Marzen mode, so I was drinking the Marzens, but it was definitely super refreshing, especially while you're sitting in a hot tub or after the sauna, right? Like you want something to quench your thirst and to kind of you get hit with the cold bubbles, and that tartness was absolute. It was the right beer choice for the event for sure. I thought that was really clever of you guys to come up with something that bright and that refreshing for especially for the situation. You talked about in like Germany and elsewhere in the world, the rooms aren't as private. Do they also have the saunas? Do they also have the zero gravity chairs? Do they have just like straight up masseuses? Like what's a little bit different of how you guys set this up? Because we went through and did all of it, and ending on the massage chairs, I would 1,000% recommend. Like it was like the icing on the cake for sure.
Yeah. So overall, around the world, mainly communal spas are still what prevail the most, unless you go to a palace in the middle of London or Paris, and in that case, you might have your private spa room, but only 0.05% of people can do that. So. Around the world, it's mainly communal. Sometimes it can be a mix of would you say co-ed, right? In English, you say co-ed, like
co-ed, yeah.
Yeah, co-ed, right, together, but sometimes it's splitted. It really depends of which country. So in Europe, it's mainly men and women together, bathing suits or not. It depends of the policy of the spa. In Asia, it's different. There's a few areas where it's only men and women, mostly when you have a bathing suit, where you can see a bit of your body. And if then for the dry part, so dry sauna, they have those type of like almost like hut where you get inside. It's so hot, and there is like salt rocks on the floor. All of that is open to both men and women together. For massages, it's mainly communal in Southeast Asia, where you just have a curtain, you close and you open. And in Europe, it's a bit more private. Now, why we have decided to leverage technology for massages? Well, the society in the US is very similar to Asia. A lot of people don't like strangers to touch them. And so we discovered those. It's interesting. We call them massage chairs, but they're not. They're not a scam from the airports. They're not.
Yeah, they are absolutely incredible.
Exactly.
I was a little skeptic, and I was like, "This is like the greatest thing I've ever started in my life."
Yeah. And so the must you must think that Sony or Samsung or just focus on TVs. Well, they are here in North America, but in Asia they actually focus on so many other type of technology, and we've discovered those type of high-tech massage chairs available there that Japanese, Koreans love using. Because in their society, it's actually not like Southeast Asia, where massage are a bit more predominant with the hands, with the therapist. In North Asia, it's more like how can you leverage technology in order to not have strangers touching you. And we started to find out, okay, how can we bring that to the US and find out if they would like it. People love it at the airport, they love it at the mall. How can we level up this with something really good? And we met this CEO based in Boulder, Denver, capital of very healthy cities. And this guy successful company that has developed the massage chairs game here in the US, and he's one of the only that is not an Asian brand that create, manufacture his own technology here in Colorado,
Super cool.
Boulder, and we've shown him our concept and explained to him what we're trying to accomplish, and he has the massagers you have tried or what he provided us. On the other side, if you think about the business side, the massage technology would always be consistent. It's always the same massage, always, all the time, unless you've got some tech issues, but it doesn't happen that often. And that was a big win. And, just after COVID, when we launched, people were still a bit shy, with the social distance. So it was a great way for us to introduce that into the marketplace.
Cool. Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. Do you guys have any memorable misconceptions that you guys get regularly? At least for me, I definitely thought it was someone just dumping a bunch of cans of beer in a tub and you heated it up, and that's definitely not what it is. I can't imagine I'm the only one that thinks that. Are there other ones as well that you guys have heard?
You're completely right. So often we get this oh, do you really bath in beer? And often we joke when we bring you into a private space to say there's no Coors Light or Budweiser inside. Better Coors Light, we're in Colorado. So that's the biggest misconception. The second biggest misconception is, do you put a yeast inside the bath?
Oh, okay.
No, we do not put yeast, and there's no risk for you to get a yeast infection. I'm not going to go into the details, but the third is, does it smell beer? No, it doesn't smell beer. Imagine walking next to that breweries. It's cold outside, but you can smell that the brewer already working on the wort. That's how we call it, and that's a cozy feeling. That's almost like a warm feeling. And of course, we can add lemongrass, eucalyptus, so it makes actually the smell very different than what the beer is. Another thing is, when you walk to the spa, does it smell beer? No, it is not an Irish pub. When you walk into the spa, we have worked on we're willing to what we would call sensorial marketing, the music, the smell, the colors. So when you work in, we have developed a scent in our own diffusers to remind you that you're in the spa. And then we have actually created candles for you to buy, and you can replicate that smell at home. The last one will be, do you only serve beer? Often people think that we only have beer, and since we try to be inclusive, we don't want to be exclusive. There's a lot of people coming and say, well, I'm tired of beer. Actually, I'm at a beer spa, but I'm tired of beer. So what do you have us? Well, we have cider, kombucha, non-alcoholic beverage, big trend right now, right? Mm-hmm. Finally, I think one other thing is, can I be a natural in my own private room? Well, yeah, that's your private room. You do whatever you want.
Right.
You don't need a bathing suit. This is yours. No one's gonna get in unless you call us, unless you keep your door open. This is your time. No one needs to know what you wear, how you want to wear it, and that's the beauty of it. We really want you to disconnect and not have any clock and just have fun.
I know you have eco-friendly practices that you guys do, right? Just keeping things local and sustainable, and not even just US made, so much Colorado made. Is there any other eco practices that you guys do that you're really proud of that are just a little bit outside of what you've brought up so far?
Yeah, I mean, I'm European. it's I grew up with, always recycling, trying to reduce as much as we can our plastic use, and in the business settings it's very different. If there is things that are the whole business operation is really like, how can we reduce waste as much as we can? We're open 7 days a week, so we're already using a lot of energy. So reducing plastic, perhaps when people don't finish their beer, how can we maybe not just tell them to, okay, just feel free to throw them away. Not that we want to push them to drink more, but if we have perhaps a bottle of sparkling wine left, we'll seal them. It's like, oh, you forgot your bottle of sparkling. Here's a seal. Go ahead, instead of wasting. Or beer bath, we use fresh hops, barley. We still have some leftover of that. How do we reuse that into different cosmetics products? Yes, and then supporting small businesses, making sure that we support them. And that might not be more, that's not eco-friendly, but like, okay, not we obviously have our own share of success. How can we make sure that right now we can help other businesses and breweries and cosmetics suppliers on, okay, well, I'm not gonna pay you 90 days from now. Let's just make sure I can keep supporting you with, paying you so you can get your ingredients, and I can keep you rolling further along. And that's very important to us. And then, giving back to the community, we often do donations of gift cards to non-profits. We try to, show to some specific non-profit that we support their cause through, giving away gift card or two for their auction. We've done in the past as well those Christmas present drop off, those drive.
Yeah.
Drive. We as well, take perhaps we more philosophy or business philosophy is really, we don't care about the title within employees. We're all a team. You've mentioned that we're all on the same page. We've got 3 weeks worth of training when you get hired. Through 2 or 3 rounds of interviews. We really want to make sure that you stay with us as much as possible. I think we're in business to provide opportunities for staff, absolutely. But it's not just a job. We truly believe that we're actually providing a really stable carrier. You have insurance, we have 401k, we have PTO, we have UTO, which, in the hospital industry is not necessarily the first thing that comes to mind. I don't have right now anyone that has spent less than a year with us, which is really, really good in hospitality, which then the guests, we don't call you customers, we call you guests. The guests feel this. They feel that we're on the same page constantly, all the time.
Are there any experiences that guests have had that really stick out to you as being really special?
Yeah.
Or funny, or however you want to answer. Yeah.
One was this old couple, Saturday night, old couple in love, like super in love, like they're 60s, right? And they have kids, right? And the husband gets sick, and he gets sick in the room. He threw up. Okay, I'm sorry, it's not sexy, but he threw up. And the lady is telling us that since their, I think it was their 30th years anniversary, so they actually had the amazing idea to go to the steakhouse and then get some edible. And then go to the spa.
Wow.
When you go to a sauna at 160, 170 degrees, and then go into a bath, this is what happened. Of course, they felt extremely bad. I mean, it's, you could think that, I'm sure they're very successful people, very successful for people, but they must have missed the timing of what needs to be done first, what it needs to be done, and then the destinations of it was maybe not like it. So what struck me, I think, was more like, wow. It's not because you're 60 or 50 or 70 that you can still be young in your mind, and I'm so happy to think, okay, we were on their path. And at the end will remind in their mind has a fun story. We're accessible. We were inclusive, and I had that guy reaching out to us and telling us, hey, my wife got a seizure a year ago. She lost half of her body. She cannot move. She cannot talk. We're trying to find something fun to do, and if this is something that can help us and her to relax, that's even better.
Yeah.
And they came. We helped them to have the experience, and after an hour and a half, the husbands get out and say, Damien, guys, team, Oakwell team, this is the best therapeutic experience we ever had. He started to have tears.
Oh.
Because a lot of people think it's just a hot tub, but first of all, it's not a hot tub. It's a herbal bath. The hot tub is at 104 degrees Fahrenheit. We're between 95 and 100 degrees for your well-being, with the sauna, with the drinking, but as well with the freshness of the hops and barley. So, but the hops and barley have such a big impact on you with the different other ingredients we put, that helps you to really your shoulders down, helps you to relax. It acts as an aromatherapy, hops is a sedative. And not only she was able to relax, but actually in that bath, when she was submerged, she was able actually to move a little
Wow.
a part of her body that she couldn't move since the accident. And
Beautiful.
her husband said that I've never seen my wife in that state of happiness and relaxation, and I couldn't believe to see a part of her body moving.
I feel like a story after that, you're like, man, if we shut down tomorrow, this was a successful business. Like,
Right.
you don't get a story better than that, to have a mission and a purpose behind your business. That's
Absolutely.
beautiful.
Exactly, and that to me was like, okay, that's the cherry on top. Like, we've always wanted to be inclusive and always wanted to deliver good, but delivering good at that level was incredible. And then the other stories will be, this is the best date night we ever had in 10 years, because people were married for 15 years, and there's a routine that starts to set up in a couple, and it's like, oh, we just rediscovered ourselves.
I feel like it hits the heart the way you want it to hit when you're a very mission driven company. All right, we'll hit you one more question. This is kind of our flagship. If you could be any beer in the world, what beer would you be,
And why?
and why?
Yes, absolutely. I think if I was 10, 15 years younger, I would have told you an IPA, but not anymore.
Okay.
Because I feel it on my body. I must say today I'm more into light Asian beer, like anything that can be light Asian, like acai, or like a nice craft Japanese beer. The other day I had that incredible beer from Japan in a can at Uncle when we had a ramen. It was light, but it was tasteful. I cannot tell you it was in Japanese. I think it was very close to, they do some Pilsner style over there. It was close to Pilsner style, but still light, but not as well what I would call cat tea, where there is no taste on this.
Yeah.
I'm drinking this. On the other end, I've started to learn how to enjoy sour beer.
I love sours.
Before you couldn't just like, no. That strawberry, raspberry, no, I can't do that. now my palate got to understand it. And one of my favorite beer I ever had, sour beer, was actually beer from a brewery called Sur, S-U-R. It's in Miami. It was made with mango, pineapple, and it was that fine line of being tart, but not too much, fruity, but not too much, and still light enough.
Your date night personality will be a sour versus your sitting on the couch personality.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm French, so yes, romance is in my blood for sure.
Oh man, Damon, this is incredible. Thank you so much. Have a great holidays and weekend, if you even consider a weekend. And
Take care of that little one.
Take care of the little one. Say hi to Jessica. All this stuff.
Yeah, thank you so much.
It was great to actually officially meet you.
Yes, and thank you so much for your support. And if you need our support on giveaways or anything for your audience, anything that we can help you support, happy to do so.
All right. Oh my gosh, I could talk to Damien, and I know I say that often, but we meet a lot of really great people,
Some incredible people.
Yeah, I mean, he was so on top of it, just telling his story, walking us through the experience, how they got started, educating for people. Why they got started, what it means to be and have a beer spa, and then on to opening a second location.
Yeah. I mean, it shows the support and how great of a community this is, that they are able to build a second location, and how proud and excited that they are. And they're not just building it the same, right? Like, the experience will be very, very similar, but they took feedback of what they've heard over the last 4 years and have made improvements. And I cannot wait to check out the new location when it gets open. So
first quarter of next year.
They're hoping for March, but we all know how opening stuff goes. You take that all with a grain of salt and hope for the best.
It's going to be great.
Yeah. Incredible people. Talk about the people that you're like so happy to see success for them.
Oh yeah.
So cool.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you. You know that. I hope you do.
So after that awesome interview and relaxation, and we had so much fun.
Ready to take a nap.
But instead, we're going to jump into more holiday stuff because it is the holidays.
Tis the season.
And I know we do Brews and Bites, which we have a great Brews and Bites coming up. But this is a little different. There is some Brews and Bites themes to it because we are pairing lagers with unique holiday foods. We're going to give a little history on lagers themselves and then jump into these global, unique holiday food traditions, and then what lagers you'd pair with them.
That's awesome. I can't wait.
Yeah, check it out. Where do lagers even come from? The roots go all the way back to the 1400s, back in Bavaria. The word lager actually means cold storage in German, and this refers to the caves that they would store the beer in and allow it to ferment. They'd brew it in the winter and be able to store it and keep it from spoiling all summer long in these cold caves. Now, the cold factor of this fermentation is actually the key difference between ales and lagers. See, ales are going to ferment at warmer temperatures for shorter periods of time, while lagers, longer period of times, colder temperatures. And in addition, they use different yeasts that thrive in the different environments that they ferment in. The Germans themselves get credit for discovering that these cold, longer fermentation periods actually produce a very crisp, clean, clear beer that we associate with lagers. So even though today most people associate lagers with light, crisp, bright, clear-colored beers, that wasn't where lagers got started from. A group of Bavarian brewers actually created the first Dunkel back in the 16th century. This beer was brewed with dark Munich malts, giving it the big roasty caramel flavor that it's known for and the dark color. The Dunkel was the first beer to be fully standardized under the German Reinheitsgebot in 1516, making it Germany's first standardized lager, and this kickstarted the boom of lagers as we know it. All right, now that we got the backstory of lagers done and over with, let's jump into some traditional holiday food pairings from around the globe with lagers themselves. And since lagers started in Germany, we might as well start there. What kind of food is traditional for Germans around the holidays? Well, if you didn't think of sausages and sauerkraut, then you can turn around and shut this video's door right now, because clearly that's what it is. Sausages and sauerkraut have been a staple of German dining experiences for centuries. It's a warm, hearty meal that's really savory and adds the nice tartness from the sauerkraut. Now, the beer you should put it with, there's lots of them, but the number one I'm going with right now is a Helles Lager. You've got this huge savory flavor from the sausages, but the Helles Lager is not only going to cut through that savory, but it's going to add a little hint of sweetness. And in addition, the Helles is going to cut through that tartness, balancing it out, being nice and refreshing, cleansing your palate after every bite. Did you know that the Czech Republic's long-standing holiday meal is actually fried carp? It symbolizes prosperity and good fortune. This has been a tradition that's gone all the way back to the Middle Ages, when fish was a common fasting meal in between for Advent. What beer would I pair with said fried carp? Clearly it's going to be a Pilsner. We're in the Czech Republic. Come on. Its light, crisp flavor is going to cut right through the fry on that fish. All of the bubbles, since it's such a highly carbonated beer, it's going to help cut through the grease and make it a really refreshing meal and allow the fish flavor to shine without overpowering it, and actually kind of cutting some of the fried flavor, letting the fish itself shine a little bit more. Now, this pairing might catch you off guard a little bit, because this area is more known for tequila than it is for its beer. What's the staple holiday beer in Mexico? Tamales! But this isn't just about the meal, it's also about the prep time. You get a lot of good quality family time while you're filling these banana and corn husks with the corn goodness and meats and cheeses and peppers. It's about the entire experience together and then eating it, because it's about family. But the unexpected beer pairing here is gonna be pair your tamales with a Vienna lager. What? I know, it sounds crazy, but the sweet malt of the Vienna lager is actually going to complement the earthiness of the corn. In addition, because it's such a savory dish, the Vienna lager is going to be refreshing. It's light enough for that, but there is enough sweetness that's going to help complement the savoriness and help pop the meal, allowing the flavors of the meal to really be the heroes, not the beer itself, but finish with a touch of sweetness, really making you want to go back for a bite and a drink. And a bite, and a drink, and a bite, and a drink, and a bite, and a drink. All right, y'all. This Norway traditional holiday meal was way too crazy not to talk about. Lutefisk. Ever heard of it? I hadn't, and I kind of wish I still hadn't. It's codfish that is dried for preservation. It is then rehydrated with lye, and then cooked with the goal of being gelatinous. This technique, kind of cool because it goes all the way back to like the Vikings time to be able to preserve food and like have it be able to last a long time. That's cool, but it looks absolutely disgusting. Hard pass on gelatinous fish. Blah. My pairing with this, because it's so gelatinous, is going to be a beer with a big mouthfeel. Something like a Marzen or a Bock. That big mouthfeel itself is going to kind of help overpower. And it's also going to create some of the flavor melding versus some of our other pairings that allows the meal to really be the hero. This is going to kind of allow the beer to be a little bit of the hero and balance really well and just kind of balance each other. But this recommendation also might be because I think it sounds gross and I want something to like wash every bit of how this sounds away. Just like be gone, bite, be gone. I don't want anything to do with it. Let the beer save the day. But hey, that's just me. Maybe I would like it if I tried it. I have doubts, but maybe. Okay guys, this is a crazy story I had never heard about before, but did you know that KFC is synonymous with Christmas meal in Japan? And this all started in the 1970s when a KFC in Japan had some tourists come in around the holiday season who were bummed that they couldn't get turkey, because apparently turkey is difficult to come by in Japan. So they went to KFC and were like, no, we're only here because we couldn't get turkey. I guess like some marketing people were there, overheard it and was like, we need to set up a campaign around this. And it has been wildly successful since. Like on holidays in Japan, the KFCs there do 10 times more revenue than they do on a normal day. Like it's wildly successful. And the slogan was so simple. At Christmas, you eat chicken. And since then, Kentucky for Christmas has been a tradition. The beer I would pair with your crispy bucket-o chicken is a pale lager, something that has enough flavor to kind of help overpower some of the extra fry that goes on the chicken, but not so overbearing that it's going to kind of dilute out the chicken flavor itself. It's also going to be highly carbonated, which is going to cut through that grease and really help the flavors of that good old bucket pop and be delicious. Because at Christmas, you eat chicken. All right, let's finish this festive lagery sips of wisdom off with a dessert sweet treat brought to you from Italy. And over in Italy, we're gonna find a delicious bread called panettone. It is a holiday favorite dating all the way back to the 15th century. Milan, baby, Milan. It's a dome-shaped bread that is enriched with fruits and candied citrus. Sounds pretty good, actually. So the beers I would put with it, if you're ending off your holiday meal, would be like a Dunkel again, or potentially an amber lager. I like the Dunkel a little bit more because I think the malty and the sweetness is going to really help complement the sweetness of the bread. Amber lagers, I feel like sometimes can have a little bit of extra like hoppy bite, which can be good, but I do think for me personally, the extra sweetness from the beer is just going to make this beautiful, lovely, light, delicious, sweet meal, dessert meal to finish the meal with. Yum. That's all I got. What's your guys' favorite beer and holiday meal pairing? Anything that's weird, goofy, fun? Let us know. I'd love to hear about it. Whoop. Bye. So there you go, Coffee Magoo. Did you learn anything?
That I want to go to each and every one of those countries and have specialty foods and
except for the
lagers.
The lute fish.
The lute? Well, I'll try anything once, twice if I like it.
God, it is so gelatinous.
Yeah, but it's just like lutefisk. I mean, they serve that up in the north.
Have I just been saying it wrong?
Yeah,
thought it was lutefish.
Lutefisk.
Well, shit, I sound like an
whatever.
idiot.
Tomato. Who cares, right?
That just sounded whiter.
It's a Norwegian thing, isn't it?
Yeah. Shit. So someone's gonna shit all over that video for me saying it wrong.
That's all right. Lutefisk. It's just for tourists anyway, so they don't actually eat that shit in Norway. It's an Americanized version of Norway.
Came from the Vikings.
And then they were like, "These guys are fucking crazy.
This is disgusting." Let's see. Let's see what dumb things we can get Americans to eat. Anyways.
Sorry. I didn't know we were talking about lutefisk. I just literally came from Minnesota.
Yeah, that's fair.
So.
Fair enough. Anyhow, I learned something new from the Sips
You could
of
cut
Wisdom,
it out too.
Because that's more fun. Since I don't know how to say it. It sounds like ludicrous.
But it's lutefish. Wait, what is it? What did you say?
Lutefish.
Lutefisk.
There's no E in it, though. It's just Lute.
Lutefisk. Lutefisk.
Yeah. I feel like Ludacris should rap about
Luda, if you're out there, please.
Idea for you.
Please don a Norwegian hat and rap about lutefisk.
I'm sure.
Lutefisk.
It's a game changer for him. He's going to be all over it.
Lutefisk. Yeah. Like that. It's lutefisk.
Looks like lutefish.
It's gonna be good.
Oh, God damn it.
Sam's probably had lutefisk.
That's fair.
I'm pretty sure on one of those cultural days in elementary school, somebody brought lutefisk. Wow. Did you ever do that?
Not that I remember.
So I think it was like 4th grade, maybe 3rd grade. And you got to pick whatever part of your heritage you wanted to highlight. Yeah. And you made like a big map of the country and you talked about it. And then you brought a food from it that people are known for.
I mean, I don't remember what food I brought though.
Do you want to hear what food that I brought?
Lutefish?
No, I'm not Norwegian.
Wait it up.
I am mostly Scottish Irish.
What food did you brought? We heard this. You brought a potato, just a raw potato,
sliced raw potatoes because I did Ireland. I'm like 50% Scottish Irish and then German.
Yeah, I remember
French.
your mom bringing that up. Sliced. Got an A on that for effort.
My mom is amazing. Her subtle dry humor was like, They're gonna hate that.
You look like an idiot in front of your presentation.
But it's legit.
I mean, it's not knowledge.
Throw some salt on it, it's fine. Speaking of, you know what I really like to eat out of the freezer frozen that's potatoey and salty?
Tots.
Yes.
Who doesn't like a tot?
A frozen tot.
Oh, you like them still frozen?
Yes.
Weirdo. Drew can like some frozen too.
Maybe her teeth hurt like mine do.
Why would frozen hard food make your sore teeth hurt less?
Because it's cold.
That should make them hurt more.
Mm-mm. Anyway, lutefisk. Ludacris is rapping about lutefisk.
Or lutefish. So funny.
Clearly, you're not from Northern Europe.
I'm trying to think of if I looked it up, and I must not have. I must have been like, yeah, I can say that. This looks like lutefish. It's fine.
And I don't know if the whole they don't eat it thing is just for tourists thing is true. It was just Minnesotans shitting on Norway. Mm-hmm. I was, who knows how much whiskey deep into the conversation. I was like, okay, I ain't eating that. But I would try. I think I tried it a long time ago. Yeah. Okay. All
right. Let's get us over into the brews and bites of a tastier meal. Okay, it wasn't a meal, tastier treat. And apparently people are curious about this. This is relatively searched. So hopefully we can answer some of your questions of what IPAs pair with a chocolate chip cookie.
What does that taste like? Yum. The showdown is the Blaze Lightning Hazy IPA versus the Electric Thunderclap IPA. Challenge on. Hello, everybody. I'm Ranger Hess, here with Voodoo Ranger series from New Belgium. If you are not aware, New Belgium is coming out with a new Voodoo Ranger series, and they're pitting the Electric Thunderclap, this biker man-looking dude here, and Blaze Lightning IPA, which looks a lot like Macho Man Randy Savage. Anyway, I'm not sure how the fight is going up against the Juice Voodoo Ranger and the Voodoo Ranger, but we'll see it all come to fruition. Anyway, happy holidays, Merry Christmas. As I said, I'm Liz. We're bringing you Brews and Bites, and we've got a delicious holiday treat for you. Classic chocolate chip cookies. I mean, it's a delightful dessert that shows up around everybody's table, I feel like most of the year, but it's great around the holidays. I know I'm guilty of having too many, probably also guilty of overindulging, but if you're gonna do anything and you want to do it right, IPAs are the way to go. They often come with 7.3%, 7.5% for this guy. So you'll be feeling pretty good just after one. So we're gonna pair the two together today. West Coast and a hazy with the classic chocolate chip. We're gonna have nice complementary, contrasting, and cutting notes from each. Let's check them out. Oh yeah, that looks like a symphony of destruction. You're like, yeah, Auntie so-and-so, that was a great conversation. Slam an IPA. The conversations just get better over the holidays. All right, so chocolate chip. We've got sweet, buttery, gooey chocolate. What's it gonna do with the piney, malt backbone, hop-forward bitterness of a West Coast IPA? Chelsea made these from scratch at 3 o'clock this morning because she's a mom and she doesn't sleep. I don't know how moms do it. It's buttery, it's rich, chocolate gooey, super sweet. It brings the hops right up into my nose like someone just flicked me across the nose and now I look like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
I actually really like this. I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about it. The maltiness really goes in with the sweetness of the cookie, while at the same time the hop cuts it, and then the effervescence of the beer really just whooshes it away right away. The piney almost comes out more bitter because of the buttery, sugary sweetness of the cookie. This is a good drink and bite. Recommend that one over the holidays. Not only does it get you through multiple conversations, but you may come out a little bit sweeter as well. All right, I'm really excited this one because, like I said, it looks like Macho Man Randy Savage. And again, I don't know what they're doing with this series, but I'm all about it. So we're gonna go with the Hazy IPA for you tropical fruit note lovers, like a little bit more juice to your bite. And with the chocolate chip cookies still, should be maybe a little bit more complimentary. I think it's gonna pop that chocolate a little bit more. Fruit and chocolates tend to go together really well. I really like the West Coast, but I'm expecting more of a flavor burst with this one. Maybe even the citrus is gonna pop. Oh, I'll pour it with my left hand. Oh, terribly.
You almost missed.
Let's get in on our bite. I got a little sneak preview there by accident because my left hand sucks apparently. Again, starting out the same. It's buttery, it's sugary, it's sweet, chocolate gooey. Getting a lot of tropical notes right off in the head here. It actually tastes a little bit more like a wheat beer to me. I'm also a little sick. I'm getting a lot of banana notes, which is weird. It's very subtle, especially compared to the Juice Force Voodoo Ranger, which is, it's thick, it's chewy, it's packed full of, it's almost like orange juice in a can. Where this is really light, you can kind of see like, it's cloudy, but it's a very subtle, hazy. Like I said, it almost has like Hefeweizen notes going on, so almost like a wheat beer. I even get like the phenolic notes on the nose. More like a saison. It's okay. It's a little flat for me. A lot going on here though. Pairing it with a cookie, I do feel like it brings out the butter. And then it does have a nice carbonation to it. It's really well done, nice and effervescent, so it cuts really nicely. I don't think it overly complements the chocolate in this case. Again, I'm not sure if I'm just not picking up on a couple of things, but we'll give it one more go. Excuse me. It was actually kind of boring. Bummer. There's a little citrus pop there right at the end. Maybe I got a delayed fish effect on my palate today, I'm not sure. I did have a fish sandwich for lunch. If I had to choose between this and the Juice Voodoo Ranger, the Juice would win hands over fists, but this is very light. Still packs a 7.3%. I think this is one of those, like, it's light enough, it's gonna sneak up on you if you're not paying attention. Between the two, New Belgium, if you're watching, I'm gonna go for Mr. Biker Man, Electric Thunderclap Man over here. I think the West Coast is delicious, packs a nice piney malty backbone punch. This one, man.
I'm here in a sweet, sweet Santa hat. We're gonna do some NA IPAs here. We've got our more West Coasty style and our more hazy-ish style. I call them more-ish because I don't really know if they're exactly that, but we've got the Lagunitas NIPNA, which is delicious, I've had before, and the Deschutes Fresh Squeeze, which is also delicious. So, I mean, I'm getting a pretty good deal out of here with both of them being tasty. Where I'm not getting a very good deal is I don't like sweet things in IPAs. So, we're gonna see how it goes. Maybe it'll like pop up and be better than I'm expecting. Liz was pretty happy with the West Coast and her cookie. So, let's see what we got going on here. Grrr, best Santa ever. Yeah, zoom in on the pour, Lizzie. Dun, 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 dun. Should have poured it with my left hand just to show Liz how it's done. So, unfortunately, out of the NAs, I feel like they never have as good of a nose as like the real beers do. We're definitely catching some of the hops, some of the bitterness. Hair off my sleeve. A little bit lighter on the flavor, highly carbonated. Almost not quite at like a bubble water carbonation, but definitely higher than beers tend to be. But it's definitely giving more of this West Coasty style smell, more bitter forward. Not as much malt, but definitely more bitter forward. All right, so let's see what we're gonna get going with these delicious homemade cookies that look perfect that I made. Definitely sweet, very rich because I like the square chocolate chips. Bigger ones, very buttery. Nothing. Nothing at all. Like, kind of baffling at how neither of these changed a lot of flavor. That was really strange. Like, even when I did the tea, there was like a flavor change on one of them, and this was just kind of like the same. Let's do drink first, then cookie. I think it's because the flavor of this doesn't last super long. And there's like a little bitter finish against the sweet. I guess I get a little bit more malt when I do it like that. A little bit more of the malt characteristics definitely dilutes down the bit of hop. A little bit more malt action going through on it. Not wildly different, which actually is kind of nice considering that's not usually my favorite pairing in the world. Would definitely do the two together again. It's not necessarily like complementing, but it's not contrasting either, so it's not bad. It's not wow worthy, but it's not bad. Now in our 2024 GABF classes, we're gonna go with the Deschutes Fresh Squeeze. Dun, 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 dun. Definitely not as hazy as a hazy should be, but we've got the squeeze, we've got the citrus, so it's as close as we could get. So that's what we did. Again, not nearly as big of a nose as like Liz's had. Definitely catch the citrus on it though. Carbonation. It's giving a lot more beer vibes. It's still definitely light on the flavor, but it's given me kind of the almost like yeasty finish of like a beer. That one was almost finishing like too clean. So a little bit more flavor, a little bit more bitterness, a little bit more bite. Definitely a lot of citrus. Hoping, as Liz kind of had the same thing, but then the citrus wasn't as citrusy as she was hoping. That I'm actually looking forward to the butter and the citrus more than the chocolate and the citrus, but we'll see. Cookies. Yep. Oh, that was actually really good. Yeah, the butter and the citrus on this with that little bit of that yeast finish just like complement both the butter and those flavors. Really skyrocketed. A little bit of the bite chilled out quite a bit from the bitterness, and it actually cut through the overly sweet of the chocolate for me. Would definitely recommend this pairing. This is going together really nicely. I like how the butter and the citrus are going together. And the color's great. Oh, it's like just giving me more beer vibes, which is kind of nice. So if I were to have a battle, I would choose the Deschutes. Oh, that was a little bit better. So there you go. Maybe citrus and citrus forward IPAs, and West Coast really like piney IPAs are the way to go with your chocolate chip cookie game this season. Let us know how it goes.
What was your favorite part about the Brews and Bites?
I was pleasantly surprised. Usually I don't like bitter hoppy with sweet because I think it like just makes like the bitterness go overboard. So I'm not a big fan of it. Because neither of my options were crazy bitter. I felt like it was like fairly balanced. So I was pleasantly surprised. So that was my favorite part. Pleasant surprisery.
I was bummed about that New Belgium hazy.
Yeah, I did. I definitely took a big old waft, and it did have some banana to the nose for sure. It was interesting.
But I like what you said. How like it's gonna sneak up on you. So if you're looking for a light sessionable, but it's packing a high ABV,
tastes like a sessionable, but packs a punch. That's a good beer for. I can see it doing well because of that, and because it's
maybe
not
that's what
like
they're going for.
Crazy over the top hazy, where you're just like like chewing on it.
Yeah.
So. I think there's potential in there.
Yeah, and I love chocolate chip cookies. So IPAs are probably not your first round of choice, but because they are such a popular beer, I could see why it's a trending topic, right? Like, if you were to just have thrown the chocolate chip cookie pairing at me, I definitely would have said a stout or a porter, right?
For sure.
Like rich on rich, like totally full complementary malts. So I liked that these pairings were a little bit more contrasting than they were complementary.
Fair enough. There you go. Internet, you asked for it. We gave it to you.
We showed up.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
We're not scam.
We're not scam. We got a scam comment. And I was like, about what?
Yeah.
I reported it as fake news. Misleading information.
This is fake news.
I laughed. But all right. Well, let's get into our final.
Let's do it, friend.
Segment, which is a top 10. The holidays would not be complete without the perfect beer to sip on by the fire or to survive Aunt Carol's never-ending stories.
We all have an Aunt Carol. They call her Aunt Liz in my family.
In this week's top 10, we're counting down the best holiday beers to warm your spirits and possibly your souls.
Maybe, if you have one. But if you're anything like Scrooge himself, he had to be reminded by his old dead business partner,
my friend.
and 3 ghosts of Christmas past, present, and future to even get his old ticker ticking.
May I?
Number 10, New Belgium's Holiday Ale is a spiced ale with flavors of cinnamon and nutmeg, capturing the essence of the holiday season.
Liz gave me one I don't know how to read.
Trogs?
Trogs?
Sure.
It's like a loot fish?
Trogs. Just say Trogdor.
All right, Trogs, something. Just say Trogs Mad Elf. Belgian-style ale brewed with honey and cherries,
Yummy.
Offering a unique sweet and tart
Sounds
profile.
delicious. Number 8, Prairie Artisan Ales Christmas Bomb. It's an imperial stout that's got spices and coffee. Intense flavors, to say the least.
Sounds good.
Suitable for any occasion, but especially Christmas.
Sounds delicious. Jubile
Ale.
Jubilale.
Like Jubilee, but it's Jubilale.
Jubilale?
Jubilo.
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 Deschutes.
Jibbity bits.
Deschutes Jibbity bits.
I just was reading a book and the elf's name is Jibbity Bits.
As it should be.
He lost his tongue to a cat. And the guy goes, "What cat's got your tongue?" And he goes, "Ha ha ha, because it bit it in half."
Why was he licking a cat?
I don't know. Because his name is Jibbity Bits.
Things elves do that we don't understand.
Sorry.
All right. Jubilale. Right? Is that right? Close enough? All right. Number 7, Deschutes Jubilale. If I'm saying that right again, we can hope. It's a festive winter ale with notes of cocoa, dried fruit, and toffee, complemented with a rich malt character. Also sounds great.
Oh, yeah.
And Deschutes is great dark beer. We're going to talk about this.
Definitely have number 6, Samuel Smith's Winter Welcome Ale. Seasonal ale, balanced profile, malt, sweetness, light hop bitterness. Yum. Celebrating the winter season.
The winter. All right, at number 5, we're coming back to Colorado with Great Divide's Hibernation Ale. English ale, old ale with robust malt flavors and a warming finish, which is great for the cold winter nights while you're up skiing in the mountains.
Number 4, the Brewery does a 12 Days of Christmas series.
Yeah.
So it's not just one, it's really 12. It's an annual release of series inspired by the classic Carol. Each release offers a unique twist on holiday ales.
Yeah, one year when we were in Boulder at Hazel's, I tried. I couldn't get all 12, but I think I got like 8 out of the 12 or something.
Hell yeah!
Yeah, we had quite a few of those. Might not have been. might have been before you were in
Pre-Boulder.
Yeah, pre-Boulder, but it was a lot of fun trying to get them all. At number 3, Delirium's Noel. It's a Belgian strong dark ale with complex flavors of caramel, dark fruit, and spices, perfect for the festive occasions.
That's right. Number 2, this one often shows up as number 1 on a lot of lists, but we put it at number 2 because it's our goddamn list. It's Sierra Nevada's Celebration IPA. It's a fresh hop IPA brewed annually, and it offers big, bold citrus and pine notes.
Notes. All right, and coming in at number 1, which I was surprised on this list, you didn't have Breckenridge little tiny keg.
Yeah.
It's not number 1. I don't love the taste of it, but it's kind of like that classic, you get the tiny keg and then you just like try to get through it so you can get on to better beer.
Well, there you go. 1A Breckenridge Christmas keg.
Coming in at number 1 is Anchor Brewing's Christmas Ale.
Yum.
A tradition since 1975, this ale features a unique recipe and label each year showcasing its rich and spiced flavors.
Yum.
Which is pretty cool for as big as they are to do like a seasonal switch it up beer.
So then they said, "Oh, so that means you're going to switch it on them." I said, "Yeah."
That's it. The top 10 winter beers that you should be drinking this holiday season. Hopefully that list gives you some a goal to achieve.
Yeah.
And hopefully
if you didn't
can
know,
get,
now you know.
Now you know. So shout out to that list because it was pretty rad. And shout out to Sam, our amazing editor, good friend, super silly fun guy who also does trivia. So if you're looking for trivia in the Colorado, Denver area, hit him up at Shut Up and Drink Trivia. And or if you have nothing to do with the brewing industry and you're looking for some dope video editing, Sam's also your guy. So hit him up with sorry, I forgot the short chop video production. Good stuff. Sam does great work. So thank you, Sam, for always all of your good work, hard work, and making us look funnier than we are.
That's right. Well, that's going to wrap up our holiday sippy-sode on this Body by Beer podcast.
And half of the season.
Oh my gosh, yeah. This is the start of our season break, so we'll take a little bit of break. We'll see you after the new year. And we've had a lot of fun this season, and we hope you have too. We hope you learned lots and met some really cool brewers and brewery owners and beer spa owners.
People, yeah.
It's been great. If you have some people you would like to see on the show, shout out. Let's get some comments going about that.
Yeah, love that. We're incredibly grateful for all of you and our amazing audience that have kept us going. And grateful getting into this season of fun. And we'll be back chatting with you soon before my tiny little human makes it down the stairs. I feel like she's close.
She is en route.
She is en route.
All right. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, follow, share with your friends. We're grateful for all of you. Be safe out there. Drink responsibly. Have fun.
And water's good too. Cheers, everyone.
Au revoir. Happy Christmas.
Until
Merry holidays.
next year.
Well done. I didn't rewrite any of that. We're going to have to pause again.
Please remove your illness from the microphone. It's loud in my ears. Oh, fair. The beer didn't do it. You needed something stronger.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So we're talking
Get a
season.
pickle top.
I said Samuel Smith, but isn't that Sam Adams?
You know, I was confused with Samuel Smith's, and I was like, I don't know.
What the fuck am I doing? Ew.
What?
I just don't even know what I just picked off your shirt.
Was it a hair?
No, it's chunky.
No.